Hello and welcome to Silvaplana. Corvatch Mountain hidden under the clouds a little bit today, but we are getting ready for our fifth and final halfpipe event of the FIS Freeski World Cup Tour. It's been an incredible season that started way back in China for these halfpipe athletes in December. We progressed through the Olympics and the stage is now set for a battle for the Crystal Globe. Here we go. Into the 14th round of the FIS Freeski Halfpipe World Cup Tour, if we consider all of the halfpipe slopestyle and big air events. We started in Dubai with the slopestyle, we progressed through to China through December, over to the US, we've had Calgary, Aspen, Lark's Teen, and now finally the closing stage of the season here in Silvaplana. We had the Freeski slopestyle finals yesterday in beautiful weather. The weather not quite so good today, but Indra Brown leads the standings at the top of the leaderboard in her rookie World Cup season. She's had a fantastic season all the way through. Zoe Atkin clinched an Olympic medal a couple weeks ago in Milano Cortina, looking to finish with a bang. We have Finley Mel Belives at the top of the World Cup standings. Very exciting skier to watch. Unfortunately, not able to take part today. Broke his collarbone at the Olympics during that training period and sadly wasn't able to take part. And unfortunately out of the running, but built a healthy lead at the top of the table. But it's all down to Hunter Hess, who's practically guaranteed that Crystal Globe now. Even if he finishes in last place in tonight's final, he should take 18 points, which will give him the win over Finley by just 3 points. Hunter with 3 podiums this year from 4 World Cup starts. As you can see, a little bit chilly, which is kind of great to see in terms of how the winter has progressed. Nice and cold will keep these mountains open a little bit longer. The wind more favorable for halfpipe than it was for snowboard slopestyle earlier on. They unfortunately had to cancel due to the level of wind running down the slopestyle course. And there is our good boy, who I think we spotted yesterday on the Freeski slopestyle. He's got his nice little jacket on. And
hey guys, so I know it's not ideal conditions for what we were hoping for today. Really would have hoped for sunshine and warm weather, and I know Matt was. But you know, I've talked to a lot of people. Some people are like, "Yep, let's go." There's some grumbling from some other people, like less happy. From my side, I don't think really like delaying and pushing, extending training and waiting and seeing what happens is like the weather's been the same all day. Nothing's changed, so I don't think there's really much point. I mean, I think the goal here is to run a halfpipe final and get an event done. You know, with the time we got in the day, there's certainly the opportunity if there's wind gusts and anything for you guys to take your time to start. We're not trying to push you out of the start gate, shove you down the pipe. So, I mean, from my side and from the rest of the jury, we would love to get that going. Does anyone really disagree? So we're good? Yeah. Good, guys. Let's do it. Okay, we'll get going with the girls.
So there we go, hearing from Richie Date, contest director for FIS in the start area, just having a chat with the athletes, which is something that's become a bit more of a regular process nowadays on the FIS Freeski and Snowboard Para Cross-Country World Cup Tour. Is when we have weather issues like this, checking in with the riders themselves to see if they're happy to go ahead, and it comes often down to a bit of a democracy and who is voted to stay and who is voted to go. But it means it puts the onus back on the athletes, and if they want to go, then let's go, and no doubt, even with the weather like this, they will give us a show. This is the first time we've had a World Cup in at the Corvatch World Cup Pipe. We did host the World Championships here last season, though, and even in conditions similar to this for the snowboard final, the athletes still put on a show. Our competition jury, as again, notable shout out to one of my favorite technical delegates, Carly Parker, coming all the way from New Zealand for a little 2-week trip to Europe. And there are our judges panel. Tori Beattie on the near side from Australia, part of our Olympic judges panel. And Adam Friesel at the helm as head judge, was head judge yesterday for the slopestyle. You can see British judge next to him, Scotty Naismith. There's the trick caller to put all the details in for the digital system, shall we say. So halfpipe finals will be coming up very shortly. It's the finals of the halfpipe finals, but let's take a look at the qualification rooms.
So there's our start list. Ryan Jacobs, Serena Kakamaki,
Looking into the women's start list. 10 athletes, sorry, not going through to today's final, and they'll be dropping in reverse order. So Amy Fraser, Indra Brown, and Zoe Akin as your top three from qualification will be the last to drop. So they have the luxury of seeing what gets put down by their competitors, and have the option of raising the bar. Indra Brown in the yellow bib as the overall tour leader. Not quite mathematically safe if I've done the maths correctly in the build-up. Zoe's had 3 podiums from three starts, and Zoe Akin is to win. She needs to finish third with Indra being in 9th or 10th. She can finish second with Indra as high as 5th. And if she takes the win, Indra Brown needs to be third or below. So it basically means that if Indra wins or comes in second, she's guaranteed the halfpipe crystal globe for the 2025-26 season. Should be very impressive for someone on their rookie season. We saw Naomi Ernest from Canada take the crystal globe for the big air in a teen just over a week ago. Their rookie season. But kicking things off from the USA, Riley Jacobs saw her teammate Ava Krum open up the slopestyle finals yesterday. She gets to open up the halfpipe finals. 24th World Cup start. In the top 5 3 times in Secret Garden, Hungary. Both coming in the 23 and 24 season. Hasn't made it into the top 5 this season. Finished in 18th at the Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina, which seems forever ago, but it was just over a month ago now. And what could Riley Jacobs put on in these tricky conditions?
Here we go.
Wind gusting through the flag a little bit, but starts off nicely with the right side 9, a little bit short of the grab.
9 on first hit.
Into
7 coming
left 7, switch right 3, just reaching to get that grab. Left side 5, with the critical grab. And finish in the right side 7, so nicely balanced run 7, 3, 5, 7 is the rotations as you count them through. You shorten them instead of calling them 900s, they just get shortened down to 9. And the judges today get put to the test for the first time, putting in their first anchor score for today's competition. They'll be looking through the difficulty of these tricks, so looking at the rotations, the axes, the grabs. The amplitude actually does come into play a little bit. The execution, and this is where Riley Jacobs will fall a little bit short. Execution is that control and stability and getting the grabs on every single hit. She gets it there right at the end, but the judges will want to see those skis grabbed for the majority of the rotation. Amplitude, part of the name of the game, and 53.25 for Riley Jacobs. Good benchmark to put down for that first run. And it is a 2-run best run counts final, so she gets the option now. She's put that safety run down. She can go all out on run number 2, try and improve that. Let's see where it puts it in the overall rankings. Next up, Sabrina Kakmakli. 1 World Cup podium in her 42 World Cup starts. Took a top 10 this season in Calgary at the start of the calendar year. She finished in 8th. So coming in, switch right 3 with the tail grab to start things off. Into the left side 5.
To the right side.
Right side 7 with that safety grab. And the switch. Left 360 into right side 540 with that mute grab. One final hit to squeeze the next one in with the left 7. So 1 extra hit compared to Riley Jacobs, and that's often an indicator that the amplitude wasn't quite as high because you have more time to get that extra hit in. But you see the execution from top to bottom in Kakmakli's run. Each hit had the grab in there. Might not have been the strongest, but it was definitely there and present. It was Riley Jacobs missing a few of them, and except for that trick, maybe was a little bit short on the grab. You see here reaching for that mute across the screes. Amplitude looks very similar between the two athletes. Difficulty maybe going towards Riley Jacobs with the 9 at the top of the pipe, but the judges have to balance all these criteria. They'll look at the variety as well through the runs, the difference in directions, the difference in grabs, the difference in axis, having those switch-to-switch hits in as well as forward-to-forward. But I think execution could pay dividends here for Sabrina Kakmakli from Germany. It's a 63.00 for our 2014 Halfpipe World Junior Champion. Kate Gray from the USA picked up a top 5 this season on home snow in Copper back in December before Christmas. She's been in the top 10 7 times, but this is her first time in Europe that she's finished in the top 10. She's also never been in the top 10 in February or December. She's only been in the top 10 in February or December, so 2 firsts for Kate Gray here in Silvaplana. Top 10 finish guaranteed in Europe and in a new month. As you can see, really scraping the barrel on the statistics, trying to find something unique at the end of the season. Finished 10th here at the World Junior Championships in this very pipe last year. Finished 10th at the Winter Olympics. What can she do today under the clouds in Korvac? Big 540 with a mute grab to start things off. Straight into the right side 9, a little bit short on the grab, a little bit scrappy on the landing, but keeps it going all the way through into the left side flare. So a bit of variety, a bit of a change in the axis. The right side 720, going for that mute grab, but coming up a little bit short again, and then the switch left 7. So on paper, very nice run from Kate Gray. That amplitude on that first hit is the sort of thing we've come to expect from the likes of Zoe Atkin, who has that huge boosty 540 on the first hit. And Kate Gray was matching that for sure. Look at the amplitude as she pops out the top of the transition. Highest air of the day so far. Lovely tweak on the mute grab. Then just, I think, missing the grabs a little bit on the 9. That landing needed maybe another half a foot or half a meter of amplitude to land that one cleanly. But she's gonna, I think, go to the top of the leaderboard with that level of combinations, the amplitude, and it's a 68.25 for Kate Gray. Takes over the lead. backs up teammate Hannah Falhaber. Hannah's 5 World Cup podiums already in a career that's only, this will be an 18th World Cup start. Hasn't had a podium since Copper in 2023, where she finished 2nd, so 2.5 years. Starting off nicely with the left side 7. Straight into the switch, right side 3. The left 5 with that Japan grab, sneaking the hand behind the legs to the opposite ski. The right side flare, it's a mirror trick to what we just saw from Katie Gray. There's the left side flare. Back to back, bit of variety. And the 360 with that Japan grab again. So Hannah Falhaber with a nice bit of variety in there. The opposite flares balancing each other out. Little change in the grabs throughout. I think it's just that switch 360 at the top of the run. Possibly that weaker point on that second hit. Maybe missing the mute grab on the first hit with the 720. And there we go. Going for that first of the 2 flares. Much better grabbed on the second one. You always find on Freeski you have a natural and a more unnatural direction, and sometimes going in that unnatural direction is just, it feels really off balanced. But these athletes are the pros, they're getting used to it, and that's where that variety factor comes in as part of the judges' criteria.
Thanks for waking up early to watch.
Yeah, there you go. As we are in Europe, it's nice, good timing for us, but if you are watching from the US and cheering on Hannah Falhaber, then fair play for setting those early morning alarms on a Sunday. Of course, most of us in Europe lost an hour's sleep with the clocks changing, and 65.25 into second place, and it's an American 1-2 as we get towards the halfway stage of run number 1. Kelly Sildaroo, one of the most established female free skiers, saw her younger brother take second place yesterday in the slopestyle finals. Can she get a Sildaroo into top spot in Silvaplana? Bronze medalist in the slopestyle from the Beijing Olympic Games, was the 2019 world champion, 2-time world junior champion in Clapham in that same year, and starts off really nicely. Backs it up with the 540 with that tail grab, and you just see the effortless ease that she's going. Has that alley-oop mid-run, rotating up the pipe, backs it up with a mirror trick to the right, and each trick grabbed to perfection. Finishing up with a switch 5 with that safety grab, and that was a very smooth run from top to bottom. Flawless execution, every trick grabbed, pipe riding in between each hit. Super solid, looked effortless and natural, and that's what the judges like to see. They will look at the grab variety throughout the first 4 hits, all with that tail grab, reaching for the tip of the skis. I say that minus that first one, which was the mute grab, and into the amplitude and the style aspect of the run. A little alley-oop adds an extra direction into the variety criteria. And I think that kind of didn't have the biggest tricks that we've seen from the likes of Kate Gray, but I think with the flow and the execution, it goes into top spot, 74.75. And she's in to the lead. Next athlete to drop, Alexandra Glaskova. First time on a World Cup start. Finished 14th at the Beijing Olympics in 2022. Was the junior world champion in 2021. And we had the World Juniors in Krasnoyarsk coming in with a lot of speed and power straight away into the right side 9. Follows it up the left side flare with that safety grab on the left ski. The right side 540 again with the safety grab. And you see really pushing for as much as you can. The left side 7, battling the wind in each run. The switch right 360 with the mute grab. And then the alley-oop, rodeo 5, finishing things off. So nice run from Alexandra Glaskova. Lacked a bit of the amplitude and smoothness that we saw from Kelly Sildaru, but had the tricks for sure, starting off really nicely with this right side 9. Just touching the skis for that safety grab. So it's similar to what we've seen the likes of Sabrina Kakmakli and Hannah Fahlheber, just a little bit short on some of the grabs, but nice variety in the axis throughout the run. Don't think it's going to challenge Kelly Sildaru for the top spot. It doesn't. It's 72.00 into second place for Glaskova. I think she knows if she puts a bit more amplitude into that, a bit better grab connection, then she could see herself up in that top spot. On to another rookie on the first World Cup season, Misha Thomas from New Zealand. Still searching for the first podium, but one of those athletes that you feel like that podium is just, it's coming, it's getting there for sure. Finishing 8th at the Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina. Finished 5th at the Aspen World Cup in January. Her best World Cup result from those 4 starts. One of the athletes competing on the Snow League Tour as well. That secondary tour set up by Sean White. Started off with the snowboarders last year in Aspen. Just finished their first season run in Larks a couple of weeks ago, and in that event, Misha Thomas finished in 4th. Would love to see her get up on the podium today. Just taking a moment to see if the wind settles. You can see the direction of the snow coming across the screen. Never a positive sign for the wind. When it's a little bit sideways, that's not quite ideal. And halfpipe, such a precision sport, needs the proper takeoff and correct landing. Otherwise, there's some consequences at play. But Misha Thomas drops in for her first run here in Korvac. Right side, left side 9 on that first hit, reaching for the tail grab into the right side 5 with the mute. Good amplitude, good execution into the alley-oop 360, into the switch alley-oop 540. Some nice progressive tricks in the pipe from Misha Thomas. The left switch left 7 to finish things off, and maybe lacking a bit of amplitude at the end, but the trick difficulty and the variety in the progression was certainly there. And obviously, apologies for any language that does get caught up by the microphones. A lot of excited, passionate skiers in the mix today. And I think that difficulty and progression, not quite the same control as we saw from Kelly Sildaru, but this one pushing the boundaries of what's possible in free skiing. And I think our rookie is in with a chance of some silverware. As it currently stands, potentially. We'll see what the judges have to say about it. Well, Adam Frizzell and his crew think to this run. How are they going to evaluate it in comparison to the likes of Kelly Sildaru, Alexandra Glaskova, and Kate Gray, who currently occupy the top 3 spots? And it's an 80.75, and Misha Thomas takes over the lead.
Thank you. Thanks my mom, my dad.
And there we go. Big thanks to Mum and Dad, of course. Supportive and no doubt tuned in. Amy Fraser, 3rd place qualifier from Canada. Finished 2nd in the Snow League, 4th in the Winter Olympics. Probably the worst place you can finish at the Olympics because you're so close to a medal. And Amy Fraser has been at the top of this sport for many years. Picked up a win in Mammoth in 2024 and starts a run here with a really nice switch 7 into the left side flare with that tail grab. Into the right side flare, going for the safety. So similar sort of run to Kate Gray, the big left 9. And finished up with the right side 900. Can she squat it out? Yes, she can. Brilliant combination to end the run with the back-to-back 900s. 2.5 full rotations, but it's that landing on the last one that's going to unfortunately cost some points. The judges want to see those clean landings. Skis landed nice and square, and unfortunately Amy Fraser just heavy over that left ski on that final hit, but really nice run, starting off switch, the first of the 900s there, and then watch the landing for this one. This is where she's going to be caught a little bit out, squatting. Doesn't quite drag a hand or any body contact, but it's almost close to a fall, and the judges see it that way. 45.75 for Amy Fraser. So close, just one landing, keeping her from what was likely a spot on the podium. Now it is time for our tour leader to start her 5th World Cup of her career. Finished on the podium 3 times out of 4 starts this season. In the yellow bib as the tour leader, needs to finish 1st or 2nd to take home a first Crystal Globe in her first season. Was the World Junior Halfpipe champion this year, to competing in Calgary just after the Olympics, where she finished in 5th place. And Indra Brown has looked spectacular all season long. And she opens in spectacular style with the left side 9 on that first hit. Great amplitude, slows things down for the right side 5. Into the left side 7, switch into hit number 4, the switch 540. Going for that safety grab, just losing a little bit of amplitude. Into the switch left 360, and then the alley-oop mute to finish. And Indra Brown showcasing a nice variety of tricks, some good amplitude and trick difficulty at the top of the run. Is it going to be good enough for 1st and 2nd? That's where she needs to finish to guarantee herself the Crystal Globe. First time she's ever skied this pipe. Wasn't here for the World Championships last year. Understandably, given this is her first rookie season, started the season at just 15 years of age, and definitely a bright prospect for the future. Even made the final in teen last week in the big air. So talented individual across 3 disciplines, like we've come to recognize from the likes of Eileen Gu, who's arguably the current queen of free skiing. Not competing here today, and the judges with their thinking caps on. From experience, I know that judges' booth does get quite cold. It's in the parking garage at the bottom of the mountain. Lots of space, not so much heating. So how will it challenge Misha Thomas for the top spot? It gets so close. 77.00 for Indra Brown into 2nd place. And Misha Thomas retains the lead with 1 athlete left to drop in run number 1. And that last athlete, Zoe Atkin from Great Britain, bronze medalist from the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics. The 2nd bronze medalist in that family after Izzy Atkin took bronze in the slopestyle in 2018. 2 very successful sisters, and Zoe Atkin is at the top of the game. Won at the World Championships here last year in this very pipe. Can she repeat the feat today in these tricky conditions? Starting off massively with that big 540, and the mute grab matches the amplitude on hit 2 with the right side 720. Into the switch left 3, going for that Japan, just losing it ever so slightly. The right side 540 with the tail grab. And then the alley-oop 360. 1 final hit, the switch, right side 7. And Zoe Atkin putting on a masterclass. The amplitude from start to finish was out of this world, out at the top of the pipe by a good 10 feet or so. And we've come to expect that gigantic first air from Zoe Atkin, but great to see her keeping that amplitude consistent throughout the whole run. That's something the judges look to reward when it comes to the amplitude criteria. It's not just having 1 big hit, but having 5 decent, consistent hits all the way through. It shows the ability to ride the half pipe well, which is, that's a whole trick in itself, to be honest. But putting together a good variety of the tricks, just that little switch 3 in the middle. but started well,
my God,
finished
my
well,
dog is
pieced
so
it all
bad.
together.
Oh.
And Misha Thomas could be in trouble here. An 86.75 for Zoe Atkin into the lead at the end of run number 1. Fantastic way to open up the halfpipe finals here in Korvac. Zoe Atkin leading at the top, just ahead of Misha Thomas and Indra Brown. Kelly Silderu knocked off into 4th place with Alexandra Glaskova in 5th. So men's run 1 will start in just a few moments. Gus Kenworthy will be starting things off for us. And of course, this is almost a who's who of Freeski halfpipe athletes. Burke Irvin, one to watch. Hunter Hess on the hunt for the Crystal Globe. Henry Silderu in yesterday's final, back in today's final. And Jorn Salianen, top place qualifier. So Gus Kenworthy for Great Britain has just seen his teammate take the top spot in the women's. Can he make it a Great Britain double win or double lead after run 1 here today? We'll find out, of course, as we go through. But silver medalist in the slopestyle in the Sochi 2014 Winter Olympics. Finished 6th in Milano Cortina this time around in the halfpipe. Coming in switch and starts the run nicely. Big switch 9 on that first hit. Into huge switch cork 7. Folds it up with the right side 9 with that trailing tail. The dub 12 with the amplitude through the roof with the safety grab and the alley-oop on that final hit. Held it together on the landing, a little bit of a squiggle, but Gus Kenworthy, amplitude from start to finish, the name of the game. Not quite the same level of trick difficulty that we saw in the Olympics run, but that's partly due to the weather. But the rest of the criteria, the variety, the execution, the amplitude, was a pretty solid start. Making that run just look natural from start to finish. And this, the only slight mistake on the alley-oop 5 at the bottom. Just catching the coping, holds it together, and survives through. It's just off the podium in Copper in December, finishing 4th place. That was his best. First time in the top 5 since Calgary in 2020, which was his last World Cup podium. 62.50 for Gus Kenworthy. A little bit of tidying up to do in run number 2. Gustav Lignavsky, next one to drop from New Zealand. And that New Zealand Freeski team across both big air, slopestyle and halfpipe is just legendary status at the moment. They're stacked with strength and depth in numbers. Tom Wilmer, the head coach, doing fantastic things over there with all of his coaching staff. To be honest, I'm leading a lot of young athletes, whether that's free skiing or snowboarding, through to successful World Cup careers. Gustav Lignavsky's teammate Finlay Melville Ives came into this event as the leader in the Crystal Globe. Sadly won't be able to defend that lead today. But as I say, awestruck by the strength and skill level that the New Zealand team has. So Lignavsky dropping in for his first run in Korvac, the 2022 World Junior Champion from Lezin, just over the valley here in Switzerland. Starts off with the switch 9 on that first hit, follows it up, switch dub 10, losing a little bit of amplitude, but gets the trick round nicely into the right side 9 with that tail grab. The left side 9 to follow things up. Back-to-back 9s in the mix. And then the alley-oop, 540 at the end. Putting it down a lot cleaner than Gus Kenworthy on a very similar trick on that last hit. I think if we compare through to Kenworthy's amplitude from the other 4 tricks was a little bit higher than we saw from Legnavsky. Kenworthy had the double 10 in the mix as well. Sorry, the double 12. Legnavsky only had the double 10. This is that switch double 10 there. See amplitude a little bit short, gets the rotation round really nicely though. And 3 full rotations, that means coming in switch, coming out forward. Follows into back-to-back 900s. It's execution here a little bit tidier than Gus. Amplitude and difficulty maybe down a little bit. And these are the kind of conversations the judges will be having in that parking garage. Weighing up the criteria, who wins which one. 5 criteria to go through. And it comes down to that overall impression from top to bottom. How big was the mistake from Gus Kenworthy at the end? Legnavsky was cleaner. There we go. 66.75, just ahead of Gus Kenworthy into the top spot after 2 skiers. Hunter Matin from the USA. Next one to drop in. Never been in a World Cup top 10. Could be a good opportunity today. Got close in at Secret Garden and Copper, the first 2 stops of the Halfpipe World Cup Tour, where he finished in 7th. First time he's been riding this pipe as well. Wasn't in the World Championships last year. And Hunter Matin cruising in for his first run in Silvaplana. Big right side, double 12 on that first hit, absolutely gigantic. Into the left side 1080, survives through the transition. The switch right 7, landed a little bit low, but keeping this one together really nicely. Left side 9, reaching back for the tail, and then the big alley-oop 5 at the end that's becoming the closing trick for all of our first 3 athletes. And Hunter Matin, I think, could have just got himself in the top spot above likes of Legnavsky and Gus Kenworthy. Had the amplitude on these first 2 hits. The double 12 just out of frame with that safety grab underneath the boot. And then maybe just missing the tail grab a little bit on that switch 10. Depends how eagle-eyed our judges are, and from experience, the answer to that question is very. But good flow all the way through. Gets the grab on the 900. And then this alley-oop, just gigantic with the Japan grab tucking in behind. And I think that amplitude is going to have its reward for sure. Does this score pay dividends for Hunter Matin? It does. 74.25, a decent score for that first run. Takes over the lead. Cale McCarthy at the top. 15th World Cup start. Cameraman not quite on the right person. That was Nick Geiser, who's the next one to drop. This is Cale McCarthy. Picked up a top 10 in Copper. Again, before Christmas, Copper, a good stomping ground for a lot of these athletes. And going for the new style of the season, the aerodynamic taped pants that the Kiwi kids started back in China in December. And starting off with a huge dub 12 into the right side 9 with that tail grab. Opening with a lot of confidence. The 1080 to follow things up. The switch right side 7, sneaking for the Japan grab. And then into the Misty 7 and just caught his hip on the coping. But that was a little sprinkle of magic that we can expect to see in Cale McCarthy's second run. I think he wanted to go all the way through to the Misty 9, and that Misty forward axe is so awkward in the pipe. Very counterintuitive to how the half-pipe walls set you up. Can't wait to see that one on the replay. It's that progressive axis. Trying to get the, I think probably the Misty 9. It'd be a bit unnatural to come out of this one switch. Reaches for the grab, does get the Japan, and comes up short. Didn't quite set the rotation for the 9. So it's not going to be a podium level score, just the 40.75 with that crash. Did ski away from it at least, but that hip contact a little bit too much. Now it's time for Nick Geiser from the USA. Being in the top 10 twice this season in Secret Garden and Aspen. Guys that had 2 top 10s this season, 2 38th place finishes. This is almost best of 5, should we say. Hopefully we'll see him back in the top 10 today. Coming in switch for his first hit. The switch alley-oop double. Just can't quite keep the ski on the landing. The switch alley-oop double 9 would have been, that's the way to start a runoff for sure. Interesting as he dropped in, so I'm looking over the switch left shoulder. Wondered if he was going to try the blender takeoff. Looking over the switch left shoulder and taking over the switch right shoulder. But going for that alley-oop, so rotating up the pipe with the double 9 to come out switch and just going a little bit deep in the transition. Such a cool trick, and hopefully he'll get that one down in run number 2. It's going to be a low score for Nick Geiser. Just the one trick in the run and a crash trick, 6.5. And it's still Hunter Maton leading us through after 5 athletes. But the next one to drop, a man with a resume as long as my arm. Silver medalist from Beijing, gold medalist from Pyeongchang, gold medalist from Sochi. 2013 world champion back in Oslo. More accolades than air miles. David Wise for the US drops in. Big switch right 9 on that first hit. Straight into the switch left 7. Big amplitude on both those first 2 hits. Follows it up with the right side 9 with a tail grab. Clean landing, a little bit slow on the shoulders into the dub 12. Holding that one on, under rotates ever so slightly. And another one to join the alley-oop 5 club. And David Wise puts one together on run number 1. A little bit of a wobble coming out of the dub 12. Skis pointing a little bit too far down the hill. Needed to be more across and had to correct that through the transition. And as I did mention, he was the world junior champion in 2013. And that's the only event he's ever won in Europe. All of his 7 halfpipe World Cup victories taking place in North America. So that's the first little under rotation. This is the dub 12, and just watch where he lands. Beautiful mute grab throughout, but you see the skis, tips of the skis pointed a bit too far to his right, our left. And that little edge change could be costly of some points, but amplitude looking decent throughout. Execution there with some solid grabs.
Hi Malachi, hi Alexandra. Thank you, Switzerland, this is awesome. Let's bring the sun out. Everybody root for the sun.
David Wise rooting for the sun to appear, as most of the athletes are. It was a beautiful day yesterday for the slopestyle, but I'm sure many people are rooting for David Wise himself.
It's like 5 a.m. Good morning, U.S. Thanks for tuning in.
69.5, and David Wise slots in just behind his teammate.
Mistakes in that run. Let's do a better one.
And you hear him say lots of mistakes in that run. Time to do a better one. Well, the good news is it is 2 runs. Best run counts. So David Wise does have that opportunity. But next up, another experienced athlete from the tour. His 44th Halfpipe World Cup start. taken 3 wins in his career, twice of them on home snow in Calgary in 2021 and 2022. Bronze medalist from the Winter Olympics. Won the opening stop of the Snow League in Secret Garden at the start of this year. Finished in 2nd overall. Been 2 years since his last World Cup podium. And in comes Brendan McKay into the Silvaplana halfpipe. Huge alley-oop. Switch 5 at the start into the switch double 10. Grab safety all the way through the right side, double 12 with that safety grab. And Brendan McKay, acting like weather isn't even an issue, backs it up with the dub 12 in the opposite direction. And then one final trick, the alley-oop 5 with that high mute. And unless I'm very much mistaken, and I've been mistaken many a time live on air, but Brendan McKay could have just taken the lead away from Hunter Mayton. The back-to-back 12s mid-run, good difficulty. And that combination, the amplitude was non-stop at the top. And good variety with the alley-oops in there, both switch and forward. But back-to-back 1260s on that double X's, grabbed all the way through, and Brendan McKay is going to be a happy athlete, I believe, a 2021 world champion. Takes over the lead with an 83.00, and for once I was not mistaken, and that is always lovely to see. So there you go, 1 run on the board for BMAC. 1 run left to go, and he's put himself a great little stepping stone to jump further up into the 90s. Burke Irvin, another man with over 40 World Cup starts, 4 victories. The last one coming in 2023. Only picked up 1 podium this season in Calgary. 5th at the Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina. 5th at the Winter Olympics in Beijing. 3rd place at the World Championships in 2021 when Brendan McKay was crowned world champion. Can Burke Irvin get his own back in Silvaplana today? Could get himself into 2nd place in the overall standings if he wins here today. If he picked up that 8th World Cup career podium in Calgary. So Burke Irvin gets underway. So switch 720 on that first hit with the Japan grab. The alley-oop 360 on the second hit, just reaching for the grab. The alley-oop flare into the right side 9 with the tail grab. Into left side 9. So back-to-back 9s at the end. Struggling a little bit with those tricky conditions, the cloud, the wind, the flat light, not ideal. And we saw a Burke at the top of the slopestyle yesterday, Burke Ruud. I don't think Burke Irvin's going to take over the top spot in the halfpipe at this moment. Just amplitude lacking a little bit compared to what we saw from Brendan McKay. Nice bit of variety and uniqueness in the run. But if we compare the trick difficulty, Burke Irvin ended his run with back-to-back 9s. Brendan McKay had the back-to-back 12s, so instantly from paper. Better trick difficulty, better execution with those flawless grabs from Brendan McKay, and Burke Irvin's going to have to come back to the top for run number 2. Try tidy things up, 54.5 for the American. Joins Cale McCarthy and Nick Geiser down in the lower end of the ranking. Andrew Longino, Youth Olympic gold medalist from 2020. Searching for his first World Cup victory. His teammates in the top spot. Can he knock him off? Starts with the switch 1080 with that tail grab on the first hit into the right side 9. Dropping a little bit of amplitude on that second hit. The left side at 1080. Coming out switch deep into the transition. Switch right 7 with the mute grab. And the left side, dub 12 with a safety. Picture perfect landing. Easy as you like. And a full pull yet again. So it's Canada, America, America in the top 3 at the moment. Can we get a second Canadian into the mix? Starting off, big switch left 10 at the start. Maybe just wrapping under the ski a little bit too much on the grab on that first hit. The judges like to see the actual tail capped, and it looked like a little bit wristy, as they would say. Almost like using the whole wrist to wrap the hand around rather than just pinching it like you would a ski, to be honest. But other than that, Longino had the technicality in there with the dub 12 at the end. Had both the switch 10 and the forward 10. Another one, I think, feeling the weather issues today. It doesn't feel like the start of spring. -8 degrees and temperatures you'd have expected to see back in January or December. The weather system getting a little bit confused. It's March, supposed to be slushy pipe sessions, and this is not slushy. 71.75, Andrew Longino into 3rd place. Alternating Canadians and Americans in the top 4 spots. Another American athlete, Hunter Hess, 2nd in the overall standings. Mathematically confirmed the Crystal Globe, if I've done the math correctly, and there's every chance I haven't. 3 podiums from 4 World Cup starts this season. Finished 5th in Calgary. That's the only time he's not been on the podium. Still yet to take a World Cup victory from his 39 World Cup starts. 7 times on the podium. Finished 3rd in the overall standings for the Snow League. Currently sat in 2nd on the overall standings, looking to leapfrog himself up into that top spot. Seeing the bar raised by Brendan McKay a few runs prior. The judges leaving some space at the top of their scale just for these final few riders, obviously dropping in reverse qualification, so the standard almost gets a little bit better as you get throughout the competition. Has the wind and the snow eased up for Hunter Hess? Hunter Hess dropping in for his first run in Korvac. Huge switch dub 9 to start things off. Into the switch, right side 1080 with the tail grab. Beautifully clean landing. Winds up for the left side double 12, and Hunter Hess has come out swinging on run number 1. And just a little wobble right at the end of the run. A couple of technical difficulties on my end. A little technical difficulty in the landing. So close for Hunter Hess. Was inches away from putting down that first run, but I think that landing issue right at the end is going to be costly. Starting off really nicely. And then the Misty 7 and just over-rotating a bit too deep and having to revert out of it. And coach at the top knows that's not, unfortunately, how you get on the podium. Core part of the values is not reverting. And 31.00 for Hunter Hess. Frustrated with that one, understandably so, was very, very close. Same trick we saw Cale McCarthy struggle on that Misty 7. Henry Sildaroo, next one to drop. Finished 2nd yesterday here in Silvaplana in the slopestyle. Silver medalist from the Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games. Started nicely here in Korvac. in the half pipe. Dub 12 on that third hit, beautifully executed. Backs it up with a dub 12 in the opposite direction. An alley-oop 10 at the finish. So doubling the rotation we saw from most of the alley-oops at the bottom. A lot of people going for the 540. Henry Sildrew doubling that to the 1080 on that last hit. And similar to the slopestyle run, a lot of rotation into the mix from start to finish. Left dub 12, look at the execution on that dub 12. Every trick skis nicely together. Bit late on the grab on the alley-oop 10. And Henry Sildrew takes over the top spot with the 88.00. Brendan McKay dropped down into second. Andrew Longino knocked off the podium. So just 3 athletes left to go in men's run number 1. And another New Zealand athlete in the Stargate, Luke Harold, Youth Olympic halfpipe champion, took bronze in the Youth Olympic Big Air in 2024 in Gangwon in South Korea. A friend of mine, Will Tucker, who is one of the ski judges, was head judge at that event. He has been the commentator this season on the FIS TV snowboard events all the way through the season. I was actually head judge for the snowboarding, and we've mirrored roles, and I've been the Freeski commentator for the season. If you wanted a bit of background on how we got into this. But Luke Harold picked up a podium in the only World Cup he started this season, and that was in Secret Garden in December. Also the scene of his first World Cup podium in a 2023-24 season. Can he get on a World Cup podium outside of China? Won the Snow League opening season. Finished in second in Secret Garden there. Took the win in Larks at the second stop of that particular tour. Qualified in third place here in Silvaplana. Here comes Luke Harold. Coming in switch into that first hit. The switch right, alley-oop dub 9. With that safety grab, follows it up, the alley-oop dub 9 in the opposite direction. Switch 7 just out of the lip, losing a bit of amplitude on that one. Follows it up with the right side 9 and the tail grab. And the dub 12 on that final hit. Very nice run from Luke Harold. Back-to-back alley-oop dub 9s opening things up. Beautiful combination to see in the pipe. Making it look easy in the tricky conditions. Just the only mistake really coming up on that third hit. Losing a bit of amplitude on that switch 7. But grabs and the execution on each trick, really nicely done. There, the amplitude just dropping. A lovely extension from each of these grabs. It's going to be a podium contender for sure. Finishing with that dub 12 and the landing picturesque. And Luke Harold goes into the 80s and third place with an 80.25. Third athlete in the 80s, third athlete in the rankings. And Luke Harold putting one down at the first time of asking. Matt LeBeau, next one to drop. Qualified through in second place. A man who's competed on the halfpipe, slopestyle, and big air World Cup tours, primarily focusing on the halfpipe. 22nd World Cup start today. Picked up one podium in the time, and that was in Aspen last season. He's been fourth twice this season in the last 2 events in Calgary and Aspen. Didn't qualify for the Winter Olympics. Qualified in second here for the slopestyle, for the halfpipe final. Sorry. Big switch left 9 on that first hit, but landing too deep, drags the hands, and he knows the run's over. Barely getting started on it. And Matt LeBeau is going to have to try put that one behind him. Not the start the young American wanted. Got the nice tail grab on the switch 9, and there you see deep in, drags both hands, and all the speed just evacuated from the run. It's 10.5, joins Nick Geiser and Hunter Hess at the bottom in that kind of crash run end of the scale. So one athlete left to go in men's run number 1. Jon Salonen from Finland. Picked up a win 3 years ago in Calgary. Hasn't competed since that event in Calgary. I tell a lie, sorry, I'm getting my years mixed up. Hasn't competed since the year after in Calgary, finished with the double podium at the double header weekend, 3rd and 2nd. All of his World Cup podiums have come at Calgary. Can he break that little record and get a European podium under his belt at the World Cup level? And Jon Salonen dropping in switch for the first hit. Huge switch left up 10. Traveling nicely down the pipe into the right side double 1260. A little bit of a landing wobble, but keeps it going. The left side 1080 with the tail grab into the switch right 7 Japan. And one dub 12 to finish. And Jon Salonen showing us why he qualified in that top spot. Nice run that's put together brilliantly well for the Finnish athlete. Had the 1260s in both directions, just like Brendan McKay. Didn't quite have them as a back-to-back combination, but first opening hit, the switch dub 10. Holds onto that Japan grab all the way through. A little squiggle on the landing, but straight into the right side, dub 10. Going for that double grab. Hard to tell from there if he made it. That was the landing issue. So we'll see how that one compares to Henry Silderud, currently in the top spot.
Helsingin mamma ja pappa. Terveiset sinne selostamoon myös. Kiva olla takaisin.
And 85.25, just behind Henry Silderud, into second place for Jon Salonen. And that is us at the halfway stage of today's finals. Henry Silderud leading the way in first place, Jon Salonen in second, Brendan McKay in third, and Luke Harold just bumped off the podium at the end of run number 1. Lots of landed runs, not too many bails, which is always good to see. Puts us in a good place for run number 2, which will be coming up very shortly after we've had the second run of the women's.
Joining me as a special guest right now, we have the world's most
So back at the top for the second run, second and final run here in Silvaplana. Last World Cup of the season. Sadly, the sun not quite coming out to shine on these athletes on the final day of competition. What has been a long season from start to finish. It's been intense all the way through, and many highlights highlights from throughout this 14-stop Park and Pipe World Cup Tour. And it's been a pleasure to bring you all the action from FIS TV. You can follow along on FIS TV, get all the latest news from the FIS website, listen in on FIS radio if you need to hear a little bit more of my voice. Riley Jacobs drops in for her second and final run of the World Cup Tour. Starting off with that right side 900 again, just lacking the grab into the left side 7, reaching for the Japan grab behind her. Hard to see if she got it. The switch right side 3 with that mute grab. The left side 5, getting the grab on these low rotations, and the right side 7 to finish things off. And Riley Jacobs had that 53.25 in her first run. A little bit cleaner on the landings, lacking a couple of grabs early on in the run. We'll check the replay to see those first couple of tricks, but really started nicely with that right side 9 into the 720. And this is where kind of the difficulty dropped, but the execution rose. Always seems to balance of those two criteria. It's so much harder to get those more difficult tricks executed well. Last 720 at the end. Really nicely done.
We gave it a go. This is a crazy zoom in. Please don't give me a
So
DNI.
Riley Jacobs gets the 59, a slight improvement in score, not quite in rank, still sits behind Sabrina Kakmakli in 9th place, but securing her 3rd top 10 finish of the season. And back to the top, Sabrina Kakmakli now to drop, sitting down in 8th place, just above Riley Jacobs with that 63. Hannah Faulhaber and Kate Gray also joining her in the 60s. Can Sabrina Kakmakli rise above them, get herself into those top 5 places? Needs an 86 to take the win. Needs a 77 to get on the podium. Needs a 72 to get into the top 5. She's been in the top 10 once this season, guaranteed that for a second time. And here comes Kakmakli for run number 2 in Silvaplana. Switch right side 360 on that first hit, and then just chilling into the straight air. I think the wind not quite playing ball for her second run, unfortunately, so Kakmakli is going to take a DNI on this run. It did not improve. The little process that came into play last season, just to speed things up a little bit, save the judges some time. If the run doesn't improve from that first run score, a little DNI goes in, and she stays with that 63.00. I think just knowing that, given the conditions, that was as good a run as she could have put down. No point risking injury right at the end of the season. Confirmation there. Sabrina Kakmakli will stay down in 8th place. Could drop to 9th place depending on how Amy Fraser gets on in run number 2. We'll have to wait and find out. Kate Gray now currently in 6th place with that 68.25, just outside the top 5. First time, as I said, in her first run. This will be the first time she's been in the top 10 in Europe, and not in February or December. So my fun fact for the day, and I promise I'll stop mentioning it ever so slightly very soon. Big left side 540 once again from Kate Gray, and then just coming down on the second hit. So this one won't improve on that 68.25 from run number 1. Trying to push things a little bit better with that second trick. This will be a fast score coming through from the judges. And disappointing for Kate Gray, but look at the amplitude on that first hit. Just boosting out the pipe, stepping things up with the 9, and just sat a little bit too far over the tails of the skis. Couldn't quite follow through and get the landing, missed the grab on the takeoff.
Shaka!
So DNI, 4K Gray stays with the 68.25, stays in 6th place, just above a teammate who's next to drop here, Hannah Faulhaber. First European at World Cup, picked up 5 podiums in her World Cup career, all but one of them coming from North America. Finished second in Secret Garden in 2023 over in China. Starting off with the left 7 into the switch, right side 360 with that Japan grab behind the skis or behind the boots. The left side 540. And the flare into the second flare. So similar run to what we saw in run number 1, and you can hear the wind howling across the microphones and not ideal conditions at all. And Hannah Faulhaber gets to the bottom of her run nice and safely.
From another amazing athlete who coming out of Colorado, just down the road from Aspen. It's so good to see her back in the pit, battling through some injuries, and it really
Was world champion in 2023 in Bakriani.
back into the half pipe. Love to see it.
Great to see her back competing in the half pipe. Didn't go to the 2026 Winter Olympics, was 6th in Beijing 4 years prior. Confirms another top 10 at least, and finishing in 7th place. Didn't improve in run number 2.
Thank you.
So Kelly Silderu, younger brother, sits at the top of the men's rankings. Can Kelly Silderu join him in first place? She's down in 4th, just off the podium at the moment. Had that beautifully controlled run from run number 1. Needs to, I think, step up a little bit on the difficulty. She wants to see a spot on the podium. Indra Brown occupying that 3rd place at the moment with the 77. And Kelly Silderu starts nicely with the right side 540 with that mute grab into the left side 540, reaching back for the tail. The alley-oop 540, following up with the right side alley-oop 40, so very similar to what we saw in run number 1. Same level of control, same level of difficulty, the right side 7 there. One final hit. And the switch 7 at the end, so stepping up the difficulty towards the end of the run. And that was the Kelly Silderu style of flawless execution all the way through.
Our Olympic bronze medalist, 10-time X Games medalist, and half-pipe world champion, represents Estonia, Kelly Silderu. Check out the replay here. Oh, cap and the tail.
Just beautiful flowing run all the way through. Every trick nicely grabbed. World champion in Park City in 2019. Bronze medalist in Beijing in 2022 in the slopestyle. Just missed the medal in the halfpipe, finished 4th at those games. 4-time world junior champion. An athlete with many accolades, and cuts into 3rd place with a 39.00. Knocks Indra Brown down into 4th place. As it currently stands, with Zoe Atkin in 1st. She will take over the Crystal Globe in the closing stages of the season. Indra Brown and Zoe still to drop. They'll be the last 2. This Crystal Globe battle is going to go down to the wire. Alexandra Glazkova takes her 2nd run in her first World Cup halfpipe final. '21 World Junior Champion. What has she got in store in Silvaplana? As the fog just drops down over the top of the mountain. Big right side 9 to start things off. Powerful start to the run. The left side flare with the safety. To the right side 540. A little bit short on the grab, but does get it into the left side 720 with the mute grab. Landed a little bit nose heavy on the skis, but carrying it through the switch. Right side 3 now. And then one final hit, the alley-oop, Roadie 5. And Alexandra Glazkova just looks like she tidies things up from run number 1. A little bit loose in run 1 on the landings, much cleaner on that one. And starting off the powerful right side 9 with that safety grab on the ski. Just got it for a glimpse of the rotation. Left flare into the right side 5. Getting the double grab in. And then this last hit, the alley-oop. Off axis on the final one. Good big balance of variety into the mix. As Indra Brown just above her in the rankings with the 77. Kelly Sildaroo taking over 3rd spot with the 79. Glaskova scored a 72 in run number 1. Does it put her into podium contention? You can almost hear the judges' brains working. The conversations just taking place, evaluating the criteria. The little democratic vote, 3 hands raised, which means it's a bit of a 3-3 split. And that's why we've got so many judges, because it is a very subjective sport. And that difference does often come down to difference of opinions, how each individual judge interprets the criteria based on their own experience as well. So not everyone always agreeing, and that is perfectly fine when it comes to this subjectivity. And Adam Frizzell, head judge, trying to manage those conversations and bring about the best possible outcome at the end of the day. They do have one of the toughest jobs in the sport, short of being an athlete. And this is often those scenarios that when it takes a long time like this, it means that it's into an important placing more often than not. Is this going to be a challenge for the podium? Needs a 79.25 to jump ahead of Kelly Sildaroo. And there we go. That looks like more of a majority of hands. Looked like she had a bit more difficulty over Sildaroo. Didn't quite have the same level of amplitude and execution. But does the difficulty and the progression prevail through, especially with that off-axis alley-oop at the end of the run and starting with the 900. It's an 80-0-0, and Alexandra Glaskova in her first World Cup final is on to the podium. And now she's got the nervous weight. 4 athletes left to go. Can Glaskova maintain that podium? Misha Thomas, next one to drop. Another athlete in her first World Cup season. Was in the top spot until Zoe Atkin dropped at the end of run 1. Currently sits in 2nd place with an 80.75. Needs to get an 87.00 to take over the lead from Atkin. 86.75 to tie. What can Misha Thomas step to? Currently on track for a first World Cup podium in a 5th World Cup start. Started off with the left side 900 with that tail grab. Nicely executed, follows it up with a 540, the opposite direction with the mute grab. So changing direction, changing the grab. The alley-oop 360 into the switch, alley-oop 540 with that safety grab. Really showcasing the maximum variety. And then the switch 720 at the end, so dropping a little bit of amplitude towards the end. Will she improve on that 80.75? But beautiful start to the run. Reaching back for that tail grab. Has the alley-oops in there, has the switch, has the different directions, changes the grabs all the way through. I think just missing it, the grab on that first of the alley-oops. Gets it on the switch, alley-oop 540. Doesn't improve in run number 2. Stays with the 87.5, stays in 2nd place. And now has to hang around the finish for the final 3 athletes to see if she takes her first ever World Cup podium. Amy Fraser at the bottom of the rankings with that mistake right at the end of her first run. Has that 45.75, showed that she's capable of a spot on the podium. Hasn't been on the podium since Aspen last year, where she finished 3rd. won in Mammoth the year before. And it is Amy Fraser's birthday today. Will she get the most wonderful birthday gift of all time? Another World Cup podium, possibly even a win. She's got the bag of tricks that's needed. Can she string it together at the second time of asking? You see that windsock on the left-hand side of the screen, still blasting uphill. Not the most favorable conditions. Most people try get their birthday off work, but not for Amy Fraser. She's got a job on her hands to get herself into that podium contention in these rather wintry conditions as spring starts in Europe. Amy Fraser drops in for a birthday run. Switch right side 7 to start things off, landing nice and clear at the top of the pipe into the left side flare, reaching for the tail grab. Follows it up with the mirrored flare in the opposite direction. Left side 900 with the tail grab. Nice amplitude at the end. One final 900, lands it much cleaner than she did in run number 1. Full pull all the way through, and that is outstanding, especially in these conditions. So this will certainly improve on that run 1 score. 80.00, the new podium bubble score, as we like to refer to it as. 80.00 from Alexandra Glaskova, currently 3rd place. 87.5 Misha Thomas in 2nd. 86.75 for Zoe Atkin in the top spot at the moment. And Amy Fraser put that run down really nicely. Back-to-back flares, back-to-back 9s. Started with that switch 7 as well. It's a good level of progression. Has the combinations and the trick difficulty. Execution looked pretty good all the way through. Maybe just missing the grab on that final hit. Is it going to be happy birthday, Amy Fraser? Judges just deliberating, which is that kind of positive sign that it is in the running for one of the important positions.
Definitely better than the first run, but that was okay. Thanks.
Best result of the season came at the start in the first opening event with that 4th place in Secret Garden.
He broke his poles. Did you hear about that? He brought 2 poles. Andrew was giving him a hard time. He's like, oh, you're so special. You need 2 poles. One pair got stolen. He broke the, like, what are the odds?
Is it a podium finish on a birthday for Amy Fraser? Sadly, it is not. 79.5, just into 4th place. Finishing the season with the same result she started the season with. Unless Indra Brown can change that. Penultimate rider in the Stargate in the yellow bib as the tour leader. Zoe Atkin at the top of the leaderboard, though. She's the main rival in those overall Crystal Globe standings. And Indra Brown now has the pressure on. The rookie needs to finish in 2nd place on the end of this run. Needs an 80.75 to take home 2nd place and the Crystal Globe at the end of the season. 3rd or lower means it goes in Great Britain's direction. Started off with a beautiful 900 to that left side with the tail grab. Follows it up with the right side 9. Good combination at the start of the run. Slowing things down with the 720 and that safety grab. The switch right 540 with the Japan. Switch left 360 with the Japan. Switch tricks in both directions. And then the alley-oop on the last hit. Looks like she improves from that first run. Nicely executed back-to-back 9s at the top. She sat down in 6th place at the moment Was that better than Misha Thomas's run, though? That the key question in this race for the Crystal Globe. It was a decent run that Indra Brown pulled together. Let's see how the judges score that one. It does improve a 77.5, but it is not enough for the podium, lacking the amplitude at the end of the run, lacking that little bit of trick difficulty. But Indra Brown doesn't quite get the Crystal Globe, but what a fantastic opening season she's had. And Zoe Atkin has the joy of a victory lap in the same halfpipe she took the 2025 World Championships last year. The world champion, Olympic bronze medalist, and for the first time will take home the FIS Crystal Globe and gets to enjoy the victory lap. Huge 540 to start things off, though. Little slash to chill things. And this is the kind of halfpipe skiing we love to see. That surfy California style. And Zoe Atkin take a bow. Congratulations on victory here in Silvaplana. 14th World Cup podium, 4th time a World Cup winner. So picks up the Crystal Globe, picks up the victory, and finishes the season in absolute style. And that is Great Britain's second Crystal Globe in as many days after Kirsty Muir picked up the slopestyle Crystal Globe yesterday. Going from strength to strength, and there is confirmation of their overall results. Zoe Atkin takes the victory. Misha Thomas takes her first World Cup podium for New Zealand. Alexandra Glaskova, 1 World Cup start, 1 World Cup podium. Fantastic. Amy Fraser was so close, just half a point away from another World Cup podium. A big congrats. And we'll hear from our winner, Zoe Atkin, very shortly. As Chad Buchholz, the most wonderful man from the FIS media team, gets down with his microphone. As we look back at that winning run from Zoe Atkin, huge amplitude on the first 540, matches it with amplitude on the 720 on hit number 2. Into the switch 360 with that Japan grab, battling the wind on every single hit, but didn't let it phase her, kept the amplitude at its peak from start to finish.
We are here with Zoe Atkin representing GB Snowsport, winner of the Silvaplana Corvatch Halfpipe World Cup, capping off the season with the dub and taking the women's Crystal Globe in pipe. Zoe, tell me what this one means to you.
It's really, really special. Obviously, you know, the conditions today were pretty tough. It was, you know, pretty windy, so we were going, you know, smaller than usual, but really, really glad I was able to put one down in the conditions. And yeah, I'm really stoked. I co-won the Crystal Globe last time, so I was like, this is my time to get my own one. So I'm stoked to be able to walk away with that. And yeah, capping off a really great season. I'm really happy and really stoked.
Yeah, podiums in every World Cup this season that you started in. You got the Olympic bronze, now the Globe. What's it feel like to put a season like that together?
I have no idea. When I was younger, like I never expected to become a professional skier or anything. Like I remember my goal when I was like 14 was to one day medal at a World Cup, and now like here I am doing it, which is pretty crazy. So just so much gratitude to everyone around me who like believes in me and supports me and helps me. It truly means so much, and I'm super stoked. I'm so grateful to be able to do this.
Awesome stuff this season. Congrats on the win and the Globe.
Thank you so much.
So congratulations to Zoe Atkin. Just to correct myself, is the second time she's taken the Crystal Globe. Took it in 2024-25 season. So on to men's run number 2 here in Silvaplana. Opening things up will be Gus Kenworthy. Watched his teammate. Picks up the Crystal Globe just now. Can Gus Kenworthy get himself up in contention? A man with a lot of amplitude. He needs to step the level of difficulty up in run number 2. Starting off with a switch 9. Into the switch left 7 with that Japan grab. Just boosting the amplitude still. The right side 9 with the tail grab. Into the left side dub 12 with the tail grab. Difficulty raised from run number 1. And then the alley-oop dub to finish. Can he put it down? And no! So close for Gus Kenworthy. One of the most stylish tricks that we've seen all the way through. The alley-oop double right at the end. A trick that he's sometimes put in mid-run throughout this season, and takes a quick exit from the finished area. Stepped up the back-to-back 9s into the 9 to the 12 and just ran out of pipe into the closing stages. Hanging, and unfortunately couldn't hang on enough and won't improve from his run 1 score. Still in the top 10 for Gus Kenworthy. Stays with a 62.5. Nearly had it for Gus Kenworthy. Back to the top for run number 2. Gustav Lignovsky sat just above Gus Kenworthy in the current rankings in 8th place. Has that 66.75. Needs an 88 to get himself into the lead. Needs an 83 to get himself on the podium. An 80.25 would see him in 4th place, just above his teammate Luke Harold. But currently on track for his 4th top 10 finish. Can he improve in a run at number 2? Switch right side 9 on that first hit. Into the switch left dub 10, low on the amplitude. Somehow gets the rotation round. Into the right side 9. Backs it up with the 9 in the opposite direction with that tail grab, and then the alley-oop. 5 Japan on that final hit. So same run we saw from Lignaski in run number 1, trying to tidy it up with the execution and the amplitude in run number 2. Don't think he managed to improve that amplitude. That double 10 just not too far out of the Copen. Losing the grab on that first switch 9 into the switch dub. Very cool combination at the start of the run from Lignaski. Did not improve, so stays with the 66.75, stays down in 8th place. But if it remains that way, that'll be his best result of the season. Finishing at 9th in Aspen, this is his previous best. Hunter Maton in 5th place at the moment. Had one of the runs of his life in the first run. Never had a top 10 finish. Looks like he's practically guaranteed that at the moment. The lowest he'd finish is 10th. So can he get himself into podium contention? Hunter Maton from the USA dropping in. Huge dub 12, biggest of the day so far on that first hit. Follows it up with the left side 1080. Coming in switch for hit number 3 is switch right 7 with the Japan grab. The left side 900 with the tail grab, and you look at the amplitude is similar to what we saw from Gus Kenworthy on run number 1, and I think Hunter Maton might improve on that run 1 score. The amplitude meter would have been a little bit higher. This first hit is just absolutely gigantic with the dub 12. Grabbing safety all the way through under that near side ski into the 1080 and then the switch 7. That switch 7 could be the only sticking point of the run, just lower in trick difficulty. But beautiful combination at the start of the run. Great amplitude from start to finish. Coach is happy. Will the judges be happy? And Hunter Maton might have to get comfy on that bench, because this could be a little bit of a weight if it is in contention around that podium spot, which Brendan McKay currently sits in with that 83. Hunter Maton, never been in the top 10, never had a World Cup podium. Is today the day? Adam Frizzell at the back there, sleeves rolled up. Asking the questions. Tori Beattie on that near side. And the black hoodie with the checkered sleeves. Just providing a little bit of information to our Swedish head judge. Weighing up the criteria, weighing up all the tricks in the run. Looking at how that concludes for the overall impression. I think it's going to improve. It does. It's a 78. Still stays in 5th place. Gets a little bit closer to Luke Harold, but not enough to jump above him. And currently and mathematically, Hunter Maton's best World Cup finish to date. Guaranteed a top 10 finish. Could be as high as a top 5 finish. Cale McCarthy from the USA with the taped pants stees to help counter this gale that's busting through. Can Cale put it down? Came up short on the final hit on that Misty 7, catching his hip on the coping. Was running really nicely until that final moment, and he drops in for run 2 here in Korvac. Gigantic dub 12 on the first hit, raises the bar for the amplitude, backs it up with a dub 12 on the opposite direction. 1080 following up, and that is a combination to start the run. Slows things down for the switch right 7. Can he get this final Misty flip all the way around? Comes out 720, and Cale McCarthy is up and in contention for a first World Cup podium. He won both of the Calgary NORAMs in the doubleheader in January. Only had a single top 10 in his World Cup career, and that came in Copper in December. And Cale McCarthy boosting absolutely miles out the top of the coping. Does eventually get that safety grab in that little Cindy position behind the boot on the second 1260, but back-to-back 12s to open up the run. Follows it up with a 1080 and has the switch right 7 into the Misty 7 at the end of the run. So that opening combination of the two 12s is what we saw from Brendan McKay midway through his run, and he's currently sat in 3rd place. How does the rest of the run weigh up? Good variety of the axis with the Misty 7. Once again, happy coach. He's down in 11th at the moment. This is certainly going to improve the score, but by how much? But this first hit, 15, maybe 20 feet out the top of the pipe. Beautifully clean landing. And following that up with another 1260, just missing the grab though. And it's a 74.75. A career best currently for Cale McCarthy.
Thank you.
Just short of the podium, tidying up the execution next season for sure. Now, Nick Geiser fell on what I believe was the alley-oop dub 9 on that first hit. Down in 14th place. World Cup best result came at the start of the season in 6th place in Secret Garden. Finished 7th in Aspen in January. Slowing things down, just the single alley-oop. Into the left side double. A little bit short on the landing, but getting it all the way through into the right side 9. Follows it up left side at double 1260. Powering through the transition into the alley-oop dub. Puts it in at the end and breathes a sigh of relief as he puts a full run together. For Nick Geiser, gets the round of applause from the crowd. Will he join his teammates in the 70s? Hunter Mahan with that 78. Currently sat in 5th place. The switch dub 10. Just a bit of a landing issue that we can't quite see out of frame. Didn't quite match the amplitude that Cale McCarthy just had. But the dub 12 at the end perfectly landed, and then it adds the alley-oop double in. So smart change of the run. Tried the double alley-oop at the start of his first run. Changed it round to put it at the end of his second run. So the deliberation continues in at the judges' booth as we wait to see the score come through. 79.25 for Nick Geiser, up into 5th place, just ahead of his teammates. For that, if it stays as it is, would be his best World Cup result. And now, the man, the myth, the legend, David Wise, in his 52nd World Cup start, searching for his 20th podium or his first European World Cup victory. Henry Silderu has set the benchmark with that 88. What can David Wise do? Dropping in, big switch 900, amplitude nice and high into the switch, double 1080 with the Japan grab into the right side, double 1260 mute, and unfortunately David Wise just coming up a little bit short on the rotation. And that was so close to getting that one round. Started the run that could have got himself in the podium. I think he knows it was going for that 1260. 3.5 rotations, pulls the grab all the way in and just comes out at 3.25 rotations, 90 degrees short of riding that one away smoothly. David Wise, a man who's been at the top of the game for many years, 3-time Olympic medalist, former world champion. Unfortunately doesn't improve, stays down in 9th place here in Silvaplana.
Hi, Nayeli. Love you guys. See you guys soon.
Brendan McKay at the top, bronze medalist at the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics. Currently sat in 3rd place, former world champion himself. It's been a season and a half since his last World Cup podium, which is copper in 2024. It's been an even longer season and a half since his last World Cup win, which is Cadrona in that same year, but August instead of December. Has only ever won World Cups at locations starting with a C, Cadrona, and twice in Calgary. So would break that little alphabetical streak if he can get above the 88 of Henry Silderu. I guess Korvac has a C, so maybe, depending if we're calling this the Korvac World Cup or the Silvaplana World Cup, Korvac being the mountain, Silvaplana being the local town. Does the C streak continue for Brendan McKay? We're about to find out as he takes his 2nd run here in Switzerland. Big alley-oop to start things off. Into the switch, double 1080, double grab. Landing low, but keeps it going. The right side, double 12 with the safety. Again, just having to battle each and every single landing. The double 1260 again in the other direction. Same sort of run as we saw from run at number 1. Has that double 12 once again, boosting the amplitude, but a couple of struggles on those middle tricks with the landing. Already has the 83 in the bank from his first run. Needs to squeeze an 88 or higher from this run here, and I think that little landing could be a little costly, but the back-to-back double 1260s, not something to shake a stick at.
It's been a great season.
83.00 for Brendan McKay. He ends that great season currently in 3rd place for Olympic bronze medalist. And the wait for another World Cup win continues. Burke Irvin down in 12th at the moment, looking for his 2nd World Cup podium of the season. 2016 Youth Olympic gold medalist from Lillehammer in Norway. Didn't manage to pull it together that well on his first run, lacking some of the grabs in the amplitude. As Burke Irvin takes to the Silvaplana snow for run at number 2 in the stunt ditch. Switch, cork 7, holding that tail grab all the way through into the alley-oop 7. Follows things up with a completely different take on variety into the right side 900 with the tail grab, and the left side double 12 on the last hit. It's an improvement on run number 1. Amplitude was better, trick difficulty was better, execution was better, more progressive. It's ticking all the boxes from the judges' side, but how well does it tick them in comparison to Henry Silderud, Jon Salinen, and Brendan McKay, who occupy our top 3 at the moment? And that grab on that opening hit was just beautifully well held. You can see the full ping as he lets go of the tail of the ski. Burke Irvin, 2nd time of asking, really does put that run down. Finishing with the double 12. Does it knock Brendan McKay out of the top spot?
Better than last time.
So he's going to get himself up into the top 10 with a 76.25 for Burke Irvin into 7th place. Joins the collection of Americans in the midst of our rankings. A flock of Americans. I don't know what to call a group of them. So just a handful of riders left to go. Maybe just more than a handful. We do have 6 on the list still. Andrew Longino from Canada drops in switch for his 2nd run. The big switch dub 10 first hit. Beautiful amplitude. Follows it up with the right side 9 with the tail grab into left side 1080. Reaching back for that tail. Landing's picture perfect every single hit. Follows it up with the switch 10 and the final dub 12. Landing like it's a 360 in the baby park, but it was anything but. And Andrew Longino was down in 9th place behind the quartet of Americans. Can he jump himself ahead? It was 71.75 in run number 1, but look at the aesthetics of this first hit. Absolutely beautiful with the switched up 10. The St. Moritz Valley in the background. First of the 1080s. And then this dub 12 at the end. Locked in's the safety grab under the ski. Yellow gloves. Beautiful to see because it helps us identify what the grab was. And now the wait begins for Andrew Longino. The judges with the work cut out in this second run as everyone steps their game up. I wonder what Adam Frizzell's heart rate is at. Is he feeling the pressure?
Come on.
Insane amplitude on that switch dub 10. I love it.
And it's a long wait for Longino.
Dude, my goggle tan's kind of sick.
Is he going to be on to his third World Cup podium? Another athlete that's picked up 2 podiums at places beginning with C, Copper and Cadrona. Maybe this is just an indicator that the World Cup tour needs to move further on down the alphabet. Cadrona, Copper, Calgary, Corvach, Aspen, and of course Lux. And it's an 81.75, fourth place for Andrew Longino. Was so close to that podium, just slots in behind Brendan McKay. So close for Andrew Longino. Hunter Hess next to drop, in at second to last at the moment. On the hunt for that Crystal Globe, which I believe he should have secured with this qualification through to the finals. Finlay Melville Ives, unfortunately not taken to this event with the injury sustained at the Olympics, was leading the overall standings. Hunter Hess was in second, and I think this is going to jump him up into the Crystal Globe. For a man with a 75% success rate of World Cup podiums to World Cup starts this season. Third in Secret Garden, second in Copper, fifth in Calgary, second in Aspen. How will his story end this season? It'll end with the Crystal Globe, but will it end with another podium? The wind gusting, not overly favorable, but this crew of athletes doing exceptionally well as Richard Dade and Carly Parker in the corner, sheltering from the wind, forming 50% of our jury team for this event. 2 lovely individuals, always great fun to work with. As Hunter Hess just tries to let the wind settle, the windsock pointing towards the top station. Ideally, you'd like it pointing towards the snow, but the flag at the moment says no. And the wheels of the gondola are in motion. When will Hunter Hess take the plunge and get himself in motion for run number 2? Last World Cup run of the season for the American athlete. And here he comes, dropping in to run number 2 in Silvaplana. Switch on this first hit. Gigantic switch dub 9. Follows it up with the switch right side 1080 with that tail grab, landing nice and clean at the top. The double 1260 on hit number 3. Into the right side, double 12 with the Mew grab. Little line correction at the end. The Misty 7, the amplitude through the roof, the landing nice and clean. And Hunter Hess puts his name in the ring for a shot at a 4th World Cup podium of the season. Will it be his 8th career podium from 39 starts? Brendan McKay currently in that 3rd spot with the 83. Henry Silderu at the top with the 88. Those are the scores that Hunter Hess would love to see this one come out at. A little bit lower on the amplitude on the dub 9, coming up tiny bit short on the landing, but the difficulty of this run has the 1260s in there, has the Misty 7 at the end, and the amplitude on that final hit was beautiful. And that Misty not only adds the difficulty in such an awkward, counterintuitive direction to go in the pipe, but adds that variety criteria of a different axis within the run. Hunter Hess has done everything he could. It's now over to the judges. as the nervous pacing from Adam Frizzell continues. I bet his step count goes up quite a lot whilst he's head judging. We'll check the replay on that dub 12. Oh, does he get the mute grab, or is he just a fraction short? You can see the finger of the glove reaching for it. The Misty 7 at the end is perfect. The dub 12 beforehand might be that sticking point. Henry Silderoux's execution from top to bottom was on point. That's where you need Queen under pressure to play in the background. I won't start singing it. No one wants to hear a little bit of live karaoke, but Hunter Hess would love to see his score come through. Hopefully something that starts with an 8, maybe something that starts with a 9, who knows. It does start with an 8. It's an 81.00 into 5th place for Hunter Hess. He's just off the podium. That missed grab on the dub 12, I think, could be costly, but will walk away with the Crystal Globe. And Henry Silderoux, this man doesn't quite have a victory lap. He's still got 3 to drop behind him, and he knows the talent of those 3 are capable of getting into top spot as well, so no resting on his laurels. We'll have to pull something out the bag and try improve that lead, get himself up into the 9s club. He'll be the first athlete to do so today. Coming in switch for his first run. Switch 1260 with that tail grab into the switch left 1080. The right side double 16 and almost puts it together. Ends up at 15.5. Has to settle with his first run score. It was good enough for first place at the end of run 1. Will it be good enough for first place at the end of run 2? But the first 16 we've seen in today's competition, really having to force the rotation, loses the Japan grab midway through. And if there was a rail at the end of that trick, he might have skied away from it, but unfortunately it was the transition of the pipe and slides out on his hip. Did not improve in run 2. He's ready with the Estonian flag. 1 spot higher than he was in yesterday's slopestyle finals. A man of multiple talents. And Luke Harold, the next one to drop, 3rd place qualifier. Has a 100% success rate from World Cup starts to World Cup podiums this season. He's never been on the podium outside of China. Picked up 2 in Secret Garden, 1 in 2023, 1 in 2025. Was second both times. Would love to be a World Cup winner and just 11 World Cup starts. Youth Olympic half-pipe champion. Youth Olympic bronze air, big air bronze medalist. I'll get the words in the correct order at some point today. Winner of the inaugural Snow League season. First run was only good enough for 4th place. Dropped down to 5th place after Andrew Longino's second run efforts. Can Luke Harold get himself up on the podium? We are about to find out. And Luke Harold dropping in. Watch what he's got in store. Coming in switch for this first hit. The switch, alley-oop, dub 9 on that first hit. Follows it up with this switch, alley-oop, dub 9 in the opposite direction. Amplitude meter definitely been checked off. The switch 7 follows up with the right side, dub 12, the mute and the extension. Picture perfect throughout the run. Follows it up, dub 16, and Luke Harold lands the first 16 of the day. And we could see a shake around on the podium. The young Kiwi coming from strength to strength all the way through this season. Didn't quite go his way at the Winter Olympics. Was short of the podium in this pipe at the World Championships last year. Finished in 4th place. But that was an incredible run from Luke Harold. Started off the alley-oop, dub 9s in opposite directions. And finishes with a combo of the 1260 into the 1620 right at the end. We'll have to check the replay of that because it's going to be a challenge for the top spot. Execution on every single trick was picture perfect. It's how they'd look in the definition of this 16 at the end. Amplitude into the clouds. Is Luke Harold going to be on cloud 9 when the score comes in? It's a 93.25, and Luke Harold is at the top of the leaderboard with just 2 left to drop here in Silvaplana. On track for his first World Cup victory. Gets the hug from Chad Buckles, our media coordinator. And Harold just raised the bar. Can Matt Lebeau join him in the 90s? Didn't go his way in run number 1 for our second place qualifier. He's finished 4th twice this season. Can he match last season's efforts in Aspen, where he finished in 3rd place? Can he get himself into the lead? He's a man that's got the tricks. Can he string them together? Matching all the criteria the judges are looking for. It's like an intense game of Scrabble when you've got the right kind of letters in your, or the right tiles on your tray, but you need to get the most complicated word out of it. Although there's a lot less pressure in Scrabble, and it's often a lot warmer than it is out there today. So looks to his coach to act as a stand-in weatherman here in Silvaplana. And Matt Lebeau drops for his shot of World Cup glory. Coming in switch with the 1260 on that first hit. Just about gets the tail grab in. Follows it up with a switch 1080. Into the left side, dub 12 with that Japan grab. And unfortunately sits it down on the landing. And Luke Harold will breathe a sigh of relief because he could see that that run was getting pieced together like a difficult jigsaw puzzle. And Matt Lebeau, unfortunately, comes crashing down on hit number 3. Will finish in 14th. Will improve his score slightly. And this is the mistake. Boost in the double 12, locks in the Japan grab, just pops out a little bit too far over transition. Can't quite catch, and that could be the one that got away for Matt Lebeau. So Luke Harold guaranteed a podium. Henry Silderu guaranteed a podium. Jon Salonen, this man, also guaranteed a podium. Currently sat in 3rd place. He's the last athlete to drop. So knows that his worst he can do is finish in 3rd, but he knows 1st and 2nd as well within his grasp. Won in Calgary 2023, his first World Cup back since 2024. All of his podiums have come from Calgary. All the podiums until now, I should say. Drops in for his second run. Jon Salonen in Silvaplana. What has he got for us? Switch dub 10 to start things off into the right side. Just under rotating ever so slightly, and he knows it. The wind not causing it, and it's going to be 3rd place for Jon Salonen at the end of the day. 4th World Cup podium. First time a podium outside of Calgary. And has a 100% success rate for World Cups this season started and World Cup podiums this season finished on. But wasn't to be in run at number 2. Beautiful switched up 10 at the start of the run. And then the right 900, just missing the tail grab, comes in at about 840 degrees, which is 60 degrees short of where he would have liked that one to be. A little bit slow in there, as he says, 85.25. His first run score will carry him onto the podium for the 4th time this season. But Luke Harold, take a bow. Richie Date, take a bow. He got through an event in tricky conditions and finished the season. Robin Boresi, Carly Parker in the background, breathing a sigh after a very intense week here in Silvaplana and an intense season all the way through. But it's Luke Harold who finishes at the top step of the podium. Henry Silderud finished second for the 2nd time in 2 days after finishing in that same place in the slopestyle yesterday. Not to be for your likes of David Wise, Gus Kenworthy, Matt LeBeau, finishing out towards the bottom of the overall rankings. And we'll wait to hear from Luke Harold on his first ever World Cup winners interview. Another New Zealand athlete with a World Cup victory, and that club is getting bigger and bigger as we go through every single World Cup. It used to be an elite club, but the New Zealand team have gone from strength to strength all the way through, and they've opened the doors, and more of their athletes have become World Cup winners. The likes of Finley, Melville Ives in the mix. And now Luke Harold joins them. Beautiful 16 at the end of that run. That was the highlight of the day for sure.
We are standing here with Luke Harold, men's winner here at the Corvatch Silvaplana Halfpipe World Cup. Luke, a couple weeks ago, crowned Snow League champion. Now you're standing here today with your first World Cup victory. What's going through your mind right now?
It's pretty incredible. I think it was a super tough day today. Everyone skied amazingly, and yeah, to come away with the win and land that last run really meant a lot. Last World Cup of the year, and there's a few World Cups and the Olympics in the middle where I wish I maybe did a little bit better. So the end of the year, I feel like this is incredible.
Take us through that last run. Explosive stuff from you there, and like you said, very tough conditions out here.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the top. I was trying to have as much fun as possible, just wanting to try give it everything I have into this last run of the year. So yeah, just gave it my all and it worked out, so I'm super happy.
I mean, it was incredible to watch, gutsy stuff. Congratulations on your first World Cup dub.
Thank you so much.
So congratulations, Zoe Atkin, Misha Thomas, Alexandra Glaskova, filling out the podium on the women's side of things. First podium for Misha Thomas. Another World Cup victory in the bag for Zoe Atkin. Amy Fraser, oh so close. Half a point away from a spot on the podium. Indra Brown, very respectable finish in 6th after a fantastic first World Cup season for her. So close to taking the Crystal Globe, but picked up 3 podiums in her 4 halfpipe starts this season, 3 from 5, as it should be now. And Zoe Atkin will take that Crystal Globe. She shared it last year with Li Fanghui, who isn't competing this weekend. And now she claims it all for herself. Plenty of movement in the overall standings at the 5th stop of the tour. On the men's side of things, just as a reminder, Luke Harold taking the victory just ahead of Henry Silderud, who finished as the top Silderud of the day, with Johan Salonen in 3rd place. Brendan McKay, so close, had his spot on the podium until Luke Harold dropped in for that outstanding and explosive 2nd run. Hunter Hess down in 6th, not able to collect podium number 4 of the season, but will collect podium Crystal Globe number 1. Finley Melville Ives actually will take the overall Crystal Globe. I've done the maths wrong somewhere along the mix. And Hunter Hess stays down in second place. So congrats, Finley Melville Ives. Not here in Silvaplana to compete with that injury, but that'll be a nice little bittersweet ending for his season. Crashing out of the Olympics, but one of those youthful riders to watch alongside his brother Cam Melville Ives in the snowboarding. But let's check back some of the highlights from the Silvaplana Halfpipe finals. So a really fantastic finals of the World Cup Tour here in Silvaplana. The weather didn't look like it was going to let things go ahead, but the athletes did it and gave their all and got a very spectacular end to the season in the books. So just confirmation, the award ceremony is coming up for both today's podiums in both the men's and the women's, and the overall Crystal Globe presentation for the top of the overall standings. And just to clarify that, 5 World Cups this season. It's the best 4 results counting. And we'll give both the event results, the overall World Cup podium, and the Park and Pipe overall when we incorporate slopestyle, big air, and halfpipe all together. So 4 Crystal Globes to give out, 6 podiums overall, as well as the Nations Cup for Park and Pipe and the Nations Cup for Freestyle Skiing overall. So plenty of awards still to go. So we're not quite close to finishing just yet. We're waiting for the athletes to get up to the presentation area, which is at the top of the pipe. So it shouldn't be too long as we see it all set up and ready to go. So I'll be back here with you in just a few minutes time when we get things going for our Corvatch Silvaplana award ceremony.
ripasta na cani e porci.
Mettiamo su lo snowboard e scriviamo che figata il nuovo snowboard che dice a me la fine su Italia.
Io faccio se vuoi.
Non si ripostano precisi. Neanche a me. Vai tu! Non sono in Italia, non devo fare.
Alrighty, we're going to get the prize giving started ASAP. So head on out here, ladies and gentlemen. Please head on over to the stage. All of our winners, our chicken dinners, whatever else you need, head on over to the stage. And we're going to get started ASAP. So, in the end, a great day of competition. We saw some of the more progressive runs put down towards the end there from Luke. Incredible. And we will, get things going in a couple of minutes. Head on over to the stage, please. So, 2 seconds. Alrighty, so I'm going to get the thumbs up when we are ready, steady. Beautiful day here, a little bit of inclement weather, but our athletes dominated that pipe sadly had to cancel the women's snowboard slopestyle competition due to safety concerns in the morning. But, you know, it's all good. So, whoever is in charge can give me the thumbs up when we're ready. That would be fantastic.
So as you can hear in the background, whoever is in charge, if they can give Henry a little thumbs up, we can get going with our award ceremony for the final time in the 25-26 World Cup season. Plenty of awards to give out between the podium for today's event, the overall Crystal Globe for the Halfpipe World Cup Tour, the Crystal Globe for the Park and Pipe World Cup Tour as a whole, as well as the award for the Park and Pipe Nations Cup, and also the Freestyle Skiing Nations Cup, which incorporates the aerials, moguls, and ski cross disciplines as well. So plenty still to go as our cameraman sees Henry get the thumbs up, and we get into the awards side of things.
According to my list, we will be doing the half-pipe finals for the Freeski women. So, in third place, Alexandra Glaskova!
So in third place in today's half-pipe World Cup final, in the women's side of things, Alexandra Glaskova, first World Cup start, first World Cup final, and World Cup third place, a first podium for the 2021 Junior Halfpipe World Champion.
Congratulations, Alexander. Now we move on to second place from New Zealand.
In second place, the first of our New Zealand podiums. It's her first season on the World Cup Tour, and she finishes it with the first World Cup podium. Misha Thomas, take a bow. Fantastic day of skiing, fantastic season all the way through. Finished 8th in the Olympic final in February. Started the season with a 7th in Secret Garden, followed it through to a second place, and here in Silvaplana.
And taking home the
But
victory in
the winner today
incredible start
and the pipe from the women's side of things. She continues her 100% streak in World Cup podiums started, and World Cup started and World Cup podiums this season. Zoe Atkin from Great Britain takes victory at number 4, the Olympic bronze medalist. Put the run down that she needed to. In run number 1 today, stands top of the podium for the 4th time. Picked up wins in Copper in 2019, Aspen in 2025 last season, and then at the start of the season in Copper once again in December. Followed up with a second place in Aspen in January and finishes the season with a win. Fantastic stuff from the British skier. We had Kirsty Muir on the podium yesterday. We got Zoe Atkin on top of the podium today. And we wait for the media photos to be taken, but congratulations to our women's freeski podium from today's halfpipe final. And this is the real test for Misha Thomas and Alexandra Glaskova. How well can they pop the champagne on their first World Cup podium? Zoe Atkin gets underway nicely. And congratulations, very well deserved from Misha Thomas and Alexandra Glaskova, and of course Zoe Atkin on the top spot, getting absolutely covered by her fellow competitors. And in -8 degrees, that might be quite chilly.
It's like it's raining. Incredible. The very expensive cameras do not want some, Misha. Well done, ladies. All right, so we will move on to the men's awards for the halfpipe here, the Parker Pipe Finals, the Corvatch FIS Freeski and Snowboard World Cup in Silvaplana.
So on to the men's halfpipe podium. Bottles of champagne get replaced. They could be doing a lot of walking up and down that podium today, with the amount of awards ceremonies still to go at the finale of the season, as the curtain comes down on a fabulous 25-26 Olympic season. It's been long, it's been tense, it's been fantastic all the way through.
All right, we'll move on to the men's. Are we good to go? Yeah? Yeah?
And Henry
all right.
Jackson gets another thumbs up, and we get ready for the men's halfpipe World Cup podium from here in Silvaplana. Jon Salonen qualified through in first place, finished in third place at the end of the day.
So great to have him back.
His fourth World Cup podium of his career in just 15 starts. First time competing on the World Cup this season. Started right at the end and finished with a third place.
Yes, congratulations,
Congratulations, Jon Salonen. Second place in the World Championships in 2023.
Estonia, make some noise, please, for Henry Silvaplana.
In its second place, matching his performance from the slopestyle finals yesterday, Henry Silvaplana from Estonia. One of the few athletes to compete across all three disciplines. Picked up silver in the Winter Olympics in the halfpipe. Picked up second in the Aspen slopestyle in January. Third in the teen slopestyle. Second yesterday in the slopestyle, and his first halfpipe World Cup podium of the season. First halfpipe World Cup podium of his career. Kind of going in reverse. Olympic medal to World Cup medal. But taking the win today for the first time in his career, Luke Harold from New Zealand. 2 World Cup starts this season, 2 World Cup podiums, one of those a win, and his first World Cup podium outside of China. A man who won the inaugural Snow League season after winning the last stop of the tour in Larks. Wins the last stop on the FIS Freeski Halfpipe World Cup Tour, taking home a first career World Cup victory and adding to the trophy cabinet in the Snow Sports New Zealand office in Wanaka. Fantastic, and an athlete I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of in the future.
Ready. All right, gentlemen, I think you know what to do. Henry's going safety first with the goggles and helmet. I love it, yeah. Oh, he's already started 10 minutes. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
And the champagne spray for the second time gets underway.
Oh, congratulations one more time for Jon. Henry.
But congratulations to our podium, Luke Harold, Henry Silvaplana, and Jon Salonen.
Oh, Jon, I think you got the worst of that.
Always good to see some champagne celebrations
Well done,
at the end of the World Cup.
So we will move on to present
Very
the
well deserved
Halfpipe
for these athletes.
World Cup overall Freeski Women's Championship.
But next up, I'll be awarding the Crystal Globes for the Women's Freeski Halfpipe World Cup Tour. And that Crystal Globe goes to the athlete with the most points at the end of the season. So in each World Cup stop, finishing in first place gets you 100 points. Second gets you 80. Third gets you 60. Fourth gets you 50. And so on, the points working down as we go through the rankings. And it's the top 4 results that count towards the Crystal Globe.
So in second place for the Halfpipe World Cup.
In third place was Keijing Zhan from China. Not here this week, but second place in the overall standings at the end of her first season on the World Cup Tour. The young Australian free skier Indra Brown started her World Cup career with back-to-back-to-back podiums and has shown us a glimpse of what the future of halfpipe free skiing is all about. Qualified through in second place at today's finals. Finished up further down the rankings, but did well enough this season with that win in Calgary at the start of 2026 to get into second place in the overall, but your Crystal Globe winner for the 25-26 season. She was your champion today here in Silvaplana. She was your world champion here last time. It's Zoe Atkin from Great Britain. Shared the Crystal Globe with Li Fanghui last season. Takes it on her own this time round. Olympic bronze medalist from Milano Cortina. And the second British athlete to take home a Crystal Globe in 2 days after Kirsty Muir picked up the slopestyle Crystal Globe yesterday. And the GB Snowsport office will be getting a little bit full in their trophy cabinet.
Well done. What a season of competition. Media, how are you doing, Snowy?
But fantastically well done from Zoe Atkin. 4 World Cup starts this season. 4 World Cup podiums. 2 of them victories, and quite rightly crowned as the champion of the season.
So the men's half-pipe overall standings, none of the athletes are here, but I will just announce 3rd place was Burke Irving, 2nd place Hunter Hess. Sorry, they're here, but the winner isn't here. The winner was Finley Melville Ives.
So from those 5 World Cups, Finley Melville Ives was the Crystal Globe winner. Injured himself at the Milano Cortina Olympics, couldn't be here to take home Crystal Globe today, but joined by Hunter Hess and Burke Irving on the podium as Zoe Atkin gets started on the key part of the Crystal Globe celebrations. Well, congratulations, Indra Brown. I believe taking home the Rookie of the Season award.
So, congratulations, Indra. In 2nd place from Canada, Naomi Ernest.
And moving on to the overall Park and Pipe podium.
Okay.
Naomi Ernest from Canada picked up the Big Air Crystal Globe last week in teen, but taking the win in the overall Crystal Globe Championships, taking into account halfpipe, slopestyle, and Big Air. Slopestyle Crystal Globe winner Kirsty Muir. She picked up 2 4th place finishes at the Winter Olympics. But at the end of the 25-26 season, when we take into account all the Park and Pipe disciplines, Kirsty Muir ended up on top. Finished 2nd in yesterday's slopestyle event. Took the Crystal Globe. Now takes the overall Park and Pipe Crystal Globe. Winning the slopestyle in Aspen. Winning in teen last week. Took the Secret Garden Big Air win at the start of the season. And definitely one to watch as we progress through.
What a season it's been.
She's had an incredible season all day long for the young free skier from Aberdeen in the north of the UK. Learned her trade on the dry slope, taking it to the snow, and walks away from the weekend with 2 Crystal Globes. Congratulations, Kirsty Muir.
3rd place for the overall Park and Pipe World Cup Freeski men's rankings, Mr. Hunter Hess from the United States of America.
So Hunter Hess from the USA, 2nd in the overall halfpipe standings, finishes 3rd in the overall Park and Pipe standings.
2nd place in the halfpipe overall rankings as well.
Didn't quite go his way today in the halfpipe final, but has gone his way all season long.
Handing out the medal.
In 2nd place in the overall standings of Park and Pipe with all 3 disciplines considered. The most successful Park and Pipe athlete picked up his 7th Crystal Globe yesterday from Norway. Berkerud, not quite here today, but taking the win and the Crystal Globe. The man who's competed in all 3 disciplines, finished the season with a double podium, picked up the silver medal in Milan. Henry Sildaru from Estonia takes home the Crystal Globe. Three podiums on the slopestyle side of the tour. 1 podium on the halfpipe side of the tour. Quite rightly picks up the Crystal Globe. Congratulations, Henry Silderud, Berkerud, and Hunter Hess.
Media, thumbs up. Well done. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And we have one more prize to give away, which is, of course, the Nations Cup, which is the country that has dominated the most for the whole season. And this year, the Nations Cup Park and Pipe for the Freeski goes to Team USA!
So Team USA picking up the Park and Pipe Nations Cup from both the men and the women's side of things across the Park and Pipe season, with the likes of Hunter Hess in the mix, picking up podiums left, right, and center. Mac forehand on the slopestyle side of things. Very strong free ski team that's battling with Team New Zealand and Team Norway when it comes to those overall results. Very dominant display all the way through. Had the likes of Connor Ralph in the mix with yesterday's final. Mac forehand took his podium. Hunter Henderson, Hunter Hess. Fantastically well done.
Right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Team USA! Overall Nations Cup Park and Pipe Freeski winners. Well done. Stadi, you got the shot?
So closing out our award ceremony.
For the Park and Pipe finales of the season.
It's been a fantastic way to end the season. Weather not quite on point, but the free ski it was for sure.
Have a great journey home if you're staying.
I've been at Gaz Vestment Vogue, and it's been a pleasure to bring you almost all of the free ski competitions this year, whether it's been halfpipe, slopestyle, or the big air. I've been on the snowboard cross side of things as well, and make sure you stay tuned to the FIS website to find out all the information on next year's World Cup Tour. And enjoy the rest of your weekend.